This is Cover Your Ears with Brian Geller. Unlocking the secrets of the music industry.
The numbers all go to 11.
You're about to get the inside scoop from the industry insiders.
You go with the Van Halen tickets.
You never know what you're going to hear on Cover Your Ears.
Now raise your goblet of rock.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Cover Your Ears podcast. We're in week number 3, and you're listening to Brian Geller, your host of Cover Your Ears in sunny Southern California. This episode of Cover Your Ears is brought to you by Ultimate Ears Pro, setting the standard for custom in-ear monitors for more than 20 years. If you're a musician and still using wedges, come on, take it from me. Give yourself a break. Take your performance to the next level with custom in-ear monitors. My singing career, my friends, was shot. Too much singing to go with lots of bad technique. I thought my career was done until I went to Ultimate Ears. So check it out. In-ear monitors changed everything for me. To learn more, visit pro.ultimateears.com. I also want to say thanks to Heil Sound Microphones for their amazing support of the Cover Your Ears podcast. You're actually hearing the amazing PR40s right here on Cover Your Ears. So if you're a fellow podcaster and want to sound great, well, start using a Heil. If you're not, well, you're missing the boat. Heil is celebrating 50 years of maximum rock and roll this year, and we're just glad to be a part of it. Check out their website at www.heilsound.com. So I've got an interesting show for you this week. Since yours truly sings in one of the longest standing tribute bands out there, I wanted to make it a point from time to time to have the top tribute band artists in the industry come on the show. So in episode 3 of Cover Your Ears, we venture into the world of tribute bands. I had a really great talk with Jesika Miller. Jesika is fun, beautiful, and portrays Stevie Nicks and the Fleetwood Mac tribute band Rumours. We talked about a lot of things, including Robert Goulet, opera competitions, and I hate to say this, but even Barney the dinosaur.
Oh, thank you.
Just how I remember you from, were we in Mobile, Alabama?
Yes, Mobile, Alabama in a van.
Now, the one thing I remember about Mobile, Alabama, I mean, I felt like...
Was it the hotel room?
The hotel room was in the top. Well, I've got a list of the worst hotel rooms.
Yeah, that one's in the top for me.
Yeah, that's in the top. We actually went back to that city in Alabama. Sorry for all you people out there that live in Alabama.
I know. Well, Mobile, Alabama is actually beautiful, but there's just one particular hotel was less than. Right. Well, we went back, I think, a year after that and stayed at a different hotel, and we brought like our sister band. You know, we have like a Motley Crue band, and we do Rush, and we have a Sammy Hagar Van Halen tribute. And it was funny, our Motley Crue singer and then our Sammy Hagar impersonator guy, they refused to sleep in the hotel. These guys actually slept in the van. Did you say this is nothing compared to...
It was rough. It was rough, but that was fun. There was a bunch of bands, and I remember the girl that was playing Christine McVie in your band, and I'm talking to Jesika here, Rumours.
Yes.
Great band. And is it the same girl now, or is it a different one? Didn't she leave?
No, Rebecca is still around.
Okay.
We actually have 4 Christines at the moment. I know.
How do you manage to find 4 Christine McVies?
You know, it's luck. We live in Los Angeles, and we're surrounded by a bunch of talented people. Ned, our drummer, his wife is one of our Christines. We also have another one, Kit Pongetti. She's amazing as well. She was our second. And then my sister, my youngest sister, she is a Christine backup and also my backup if it were to ever happen. I've yet to need a substitute.
So how long do we have to wait for the franchises to start branching out?
Exactly.
From Rumours,
we're
right?
working on it. We're working.
That's great. So what I remember the one thing about that show, I don't remember anything about the show, but I do remember that there was no food in the vicinity of where we were staying.
Right.
So there wasn't.
It was
Uber.
a bar.
Yeah, there was a bar, but there wasn't Uber a couple years ago,
No.
and no cabs would actually come into that part of the town. So we actually got a ride from a cop. So we were all like the guys from the Punks, and we had a few from Rumours, and we were all in the back seat of this cop car, and he drove us down to the only place that was open.
So sweet of him.
Right? Isn't that cool?
So sweet, yeah. I think it comes down to laziness.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And when we played together, I think you guys were only in existence maybe a year. I think it was less than a year at that point.
Yeah,
okay.
It was. That might have been one of our first few shows because we had a residency at the Roxy in LA, and then we had booked this gig. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on the side of the stage, and it was like a pretty big venue that we were playing, and you guys were one of the earlier bands. So I love Fleetwood Mac. I grew up on Fleetwood Mac. I mean, the Rumours album. I mean, it's a desert island album, right? So, anyways, I'm on the side of the stage, and I didn't know anything about you guys, and all of a sudden, I see you and your four bandmates like walk out, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" Because there's a lot of bands out there that can do the music,
right? And
then there's a lot of bands out there that can kind of get the look. But let's face it, I'm in my late 40s. How old are you, Jessica? If
I'm 33.
Okay, so you're 33, a very young-looking 33.
I like to nap.
Okay, it helps, and I could see you use some good stuff on your skin too, right? So the thing I noticed about Rumours, though, is you guys were all young. All the bands out there that do tributes, we're all old. It's a challenge for me to play David Lee Roth at the age of 48. I'm playing a guy that...
Well, it's exhausting.
It really is. So to actually see a band walk out on stage, you guys looked as if you were the same age as Fleetwood Mac was when they recorded Rumours. And that hooked me right then.
Yeah, we rehearsed for 6 months straight, twice a week, 4 times, 4 hours each rehearsal, which... it might not sound. It might sound like you're just kind of, but we really honed in like 6 songs, and then we would add on from there. And we had a little private show in Taylor's studio. Taylor's our guitar player, and
which totally talented. Not only is
he's
Taylor,
so talented.
I mean, he's finger picking, right? Like Lindsey Buckingham.
He's finger picking, and it's so funny because, as you say, it's like a lot of the other tribute bands. Like, there's a lot of Fleetwood Mac tribute bands,
sure,
but I almost look at them as cover bands because they aren't doing what we do, which is he's finger picking. I'm singing out of.
He's even doing the Lindsey Buckingham high voice in between songs.
He does the Lindsey Buckingham high voice. He does the Lindsey Buckingham monologues on stage. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Lindsey Buckingham perform, but the man loves to talk. And he loves to talk about himself and the experience. He's an incredibly talented man, but he loves to talk, and Stevie will interrupt him and tell him to stop talking, and Christine will, make a little joke to like make light of the situation, and Mick will just try to make goofy faces and make everyone happy, and John McVie is usually drunk in the corner somewhere. Right. It's just, so we were like, when we had our first meeting, before we even played a note, we all sat down and we're like, so how far do we want to take this? And I said, I want people to think that we're crazy and that we don't know that we're not these people.
Right.
And it's carried through. That actually has happened where there'll be an interview or something. Like, this is rare for me to do an interview outside of a Stevie Nicks voice or character, because if we're in costume, we're in character.
Right.
I guess what's that acting method? We're going Meisner.
There you go. Right. I think that's what it's called.
So we're Meisner, but people will ask us a question and we'll keep answering in character. And they're like, so are you going to do this the whole time? And then we're like, do what?
I saw a Rat tribute band. I forget where we were. We were in the middle of nowhere. And they all kind of had the look and the costume when they're wearing the Weekend Warrior wigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the singer playing Stephen Piercy was just very short. I mean... So that you had these odd heights.
I like this height discrimination.
I'm sorry. I mean,
it's awesome.
Jessica, he could look eye to eye to you, but you're a girl. You can get away with that.
Well, it's funny. I am very short, and usually men that are around my height will they look at me like, you're my size. And they get really excited, and I'm like, no.
So what's going on with the band right now? What do you guys have cooking?
We've got a lot cooking. I mean, we are we've got interest in London, Australia, New Zealand, and Dubai. That's pretty recent. So we're working on that. We just did a tour in Newfoundland, Canada, which is
amazing.
Way far out there. It's a 4.5 hour time difference.
How have you been singing your whole life?
I have been singing my whole life. I actually am that I know of, a third generation singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
My mom's a singer. My dad's a drummer. My grandparents are opera singers. They met during a singing competition. My grandfather won first place and my grandmother won.
Get out of here.
I'm not kidding. She won second place.
So
obviously they had to end up together.
Grandma and grandpa are opera singers. Mm-hmm. They meet at an opera singer competition. Mm-hmm. The fact that they actually have those is amazing.
I know. Well,
too.
I used to compete singing opera. That's how I was. I'm classically trained, which helps with like singing multiple shows in a row, even though doing the Stevie Nicks voice does. I am rasping it up, so I'm not singing completely correctly, but it just
whatever works.
It's a good foundation to have. But
yeah, the grandparents met that. Are they still alive today?
My grandfather recently passed away at 93.
Wow.
So yeah, and my grandmother's 92 and just came to a show of ours the other day.
Wow, get out of here! That's amazing.
She's hilarious.
So they stayed married.
They stayed married.
How long were they?
He was her bride up until the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It's very cute.
Okay, so they're the opera singers, and then what about your folks?
So my parents, they met. My mom was a singer for Dean Martin, a group called the Dean Martin's Gold Diggers.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
We need to have T-shirts that say that.
Exactly.
Right? How cool would that be?
My mom sang for Dean Martin.
That'd actually be a cool stage shirt for you to wear.
That would be a cool stage shirt. Then everyone would just want to talk to me about Dean Martin, and I would only be able to take it so far to like, that's Amore or something.
She must have some amazing Dean Martin stories then.
Yeah, she does. So they were a touring group, and then they got to perform. So he had this singing group, but they weren't with him all the time.
Okay.
And then they got to perform on the show with him, and he actually had a crush on my mom.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. And it was right around the time that my mother and my father started dating. And my dad was the drummer for the band, and it was forbidden for these, for the band to fraternize with the singers. And so he ended up being let go because of that. And then
obviously a lot of 70s and 80s groups didn't get that memo.
Yeah. And it's that whole Dean Martin, the Rat Pack thing, the whole mafia. It was pretty deep. My mom was a very sweet Catholic schoolgirl who wanted to be a nun, who ended up being a singer, and then just wanted to be a mother. And she was just it was like she was very wide-eyed with the whole thing. And so he took a liking to her, and then there were kind of threats as far as we knew. It was just not threats, but we would hate for something to happen to Glenn. That's my dad.
Right.
If you like Dean likes you. So she kind of like stepped back.
Interesting. Kind of a Sopranos type thing.
It's really weird. So she stepped back and then became a Rams cheerleader, and
seriously
couldn't do a high kick to save her life.
Tell everybody what hat I'm wearing right now.
Oh yeah, you're wearing a Rams hat.
I'm wearing a Rams hat.
She still has the pom-poms. I think she should sell them. She could make so much money off of those.
This is amazing. I love your family. So the grandparents that are the opera singers. Mm-hmm. Then we've got mom that was going to be a nun and a mom. And then the Dean Martin thing. Yep. And then I'm just going to be a Rams cheerleader.
Cheerleader. Rams cheerleader. And my dad's an amazing jazz drummer. And Elton John liked him and came back and introduced himself, and he was like, yeah. And he like thought it was like a prank. He thought like he was being punked. So my dad kind of, missed that opportunity to start thinking he was being joked around with. Okay. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of grew up with like beach life, like my whole life, and going to Disney, VIP passes.
Right.
Most kids don't get to experience that.
There's a music thing that happens in our families that is just passed on. I can totally see that with you.
It is passed on, yeah. I mean, like I told you earlier, I took 8 years off from singing for a while because I didn't know if it was my dream for myself or my family's dream for me. Because I grew up, I was on the Barney CDs, like singing like as a little kid. Like I was like caroling companies and just competing opera, like opera singing and all that stuff.
Like the Barney the dinosaur thing. You were doing that stuff?
Yeah, it was part of this group called the Caroling Company, and they would hire us to sing on CDs. And then it got to a point where I was like a preteen, like using a kid's voice.
So what's a typical? I mean, because that was
all right, like
Wow, that sounds. Just do it again one more time.
All right, like just really goofy stuff like that.
Wow, that kind of had like a Dora the Explorer type thing.
Let's go.
Right. Oh my
exactly.
Gosh. So now we're talking about Dora the Explorer.
No, yeah, we're not. I don't know anything about Dora the Explorer.
Well, neither do I. I promise. So you took 8 years off. Wow.
I took 8 years off. I kind of snapped. Because growing up as a performer, there's a lot of expectation, and high school was not easy. It's just I felt like rejected from the choirs because it was just I moved around a lot. So like just from like the Disney. Well, we moved middle of my sophomore year, and I remember I auditioned for like the vocal ensemble and I got rejected, and it was because they didn't know if my personality would mesh well with the other students. Which you know me. I'm a pretty cheery person. Like,
who doesn't love you?
Well,
how can that be?
Not who doesn't love me, but I like to think that I'm pretty agreeable. But so I was kind of like bummed out about that. But my parents told me, they're like, look, if that opportunity isn't working for you, find one that is. And so I just went up to the jazz band director and I said, hey, do you need a singer? And then I was a singer for the jazz band.
Wow.
And then everyone was like, well, why aren't we doing that? I'm like, well, you didn't think of it.
Isn't that fun? It's funny how those things work out.
It is. It's funny. Know? And then I kind of just turned 21 and was just like, partying and wanted to have a good time and just be 21 and not worry. And then
didn't we all?
Yeah, exactly. But it was like I got really scared of singing. You should have seen my first time back on stage. You would have thought my arms were glued to my side.
It takes time.
It does.
It's not like, okay, I'm going to do a tribute band and I'm familiar with Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks and just do it. There's a lot of work that people don't understand that goes into it.
It's a lot of studying. It's like, I exercise regularly.
Now, you weren't self-medicating like the true Stevie Nicks would, right?
No, I don't go that deep. But I remember I definitely took like a prescription strength Advil, which made me jittery and nauseous, and then the heat, and it was just this whole thing. And I was just trying to like just get through it, and I couldn't to bend down. It was like kind of like I looked like Gloria Estefan like right after the back surgery. Like I was just very stiff. And I remember someone wrote up like an email. People don't think about what they're writing, and someone wrote like an email to our Facebook page, and they're like, everyone was great, but that Stevie Nicks needs work.
Oh.
And it was like the perfect thing to say because it was just, I was in so much pain that day. And I was like, I was like, well, that's a bummer that I wasn't like playing it off as well as I thought I was.
There's always somebody out there that's got to be negative, isn't
always.
It? It's amazing.
Always.
Do you have any issue with that? I mean, it took me a long time to get past reading people say, reading things that were people like, God, the band's great, but the singer's awful.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's not easy.
It's not easy. And like we had this one woman that she kept writing the same comment over and over again. And it's like, everyone's like positive, positive, positive. And then for some reason, I don't think she got it or like got what we were doing because we joke around on stage and we stay in character and we might bicker a little bit because that's just like what Fleetwood Mac would do. And a lot of times
you're a band.
And we're a band. And like a lot of times people don't get it. And she wrote, they're awful. And like she kept writing it to the point where I was like, she was the only person I've ever had to block. So I've only had to block one person, which it's good. But I was like, man, you're bumming me out. But you definitely have the people that will come up to you and tell you to smile. And you're just, it's like they're like, smile, smile. Or my favorite is, we can't hear you.
Yeah, the guy that, see, for us, we're doing a Van Halen thing. It's very loud, and you'll have the guy that's standing in front of the guitar player, and then he's pointing at me going, we can't hear you, we can't hear you. And I'm like,
I want to be like, I'll just get on my remote and turn me up.
Like, you're in the front, you're in front of the guitar player. What can I do?
Not
it
everyone,
always happens.
It always happens. We can't hear you. it's just really funny. We had one woman come back like backstage during like a break at a park show, and she was like, "You guys look great, but sweetheart, you need to sing louder." And I was like, you need to talk to the sound guy. I don't know. And she goes, "The sound guy told me to talk to you." And I was like, "Wait, what's happening?"
That's a great sound guy. That's a sound guy I want to hire. Great. I always like the guy that'll
under the bus we went.
Right, right.
What?
I always like not necessarily a guy, but usually a girl will come up and she'll go, "You guys are great, and is your hair real? You know, is that a wig?" And she's like, "I think it's real." And then she'll
your hair looks incredible on stage.
I got to pay for that bad boy.
I know.
It's like a fifth member of the band.
I remember when I emailed you to ask you about it because I thought about cutting my hair and I thought about changing my look. I'm like, it's going to cost me like $3,000 just to change my hair.
Is it a battle for the Fleetwood Mac bands between you and the other ones? Does it get nasty? I mean, sometimes it does. With my guys.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's been some situations. I mean, like, you're playing on our turf type things, or someone's tried to pretend that they were us. And I've had to call venues and say, "Hey, can you please take my face off of your building because our band is not playing that show?" And they're like, "Well, we thought we were booking you." And then it's just, but I've seen photos of other bands, like you were saying, and there's this one guy where the Mick Fleetwood, his hair is like so curly and shiny, and it's like so lustrous looking. He looks like he's like part of like the Victorian ages.
Yeah, like he's a pirate.
Yeah, he looks like a pirate. It's really funny, and I'm like, okay,
Sir Galahad.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like, did you even try? Did you just go to the first wig store that you found and just decide?
Right.
It's pretty funny, but
That's
it is. Even though like tribute world, it is a little silly in its own way. It's also very serious and very competitive because you want to be the best at that. Because if you're not the only Van Halen tribute band. We're not the only Fleetwood Mac tribute band. So if you're going to do it right. And that's why we try to like up the bar like as much as we can. Like when you grow up singing, one of the things that they teach you is the best way to learn from your mistakes is to record yourself. And I used to record myself all the time, and I still do it to this day. So, because you really don't know what you sound like until you hear it playing through a speaker. And I remember the first time I heard a voicemail that I left, I was like, "That's what I sound like." But I
know, isn't that like I can listen to myself singing, and I've heard it just too many times.
Yeah.
But if I hear myself talking, sometimes I'm like, "Is that me?
Yeah,
Is this happening?"
Yeah.
So, and it's funny when I look at you, I can't decide. Do you look like Stevie Nicks? Do you not look like Stevie Nicks? And I think more of it is just I think it's like kind of you have the aura of her.
Oh, thank you.
You look similar to her. You know, you guys have the same height.
Our birthdays are really close to each other.
That's right. Well, like a couple days apart.
I'm the 22nd of May, and she's the 25th, I think, of May.
See,
crazy.
So yeah, it's like. You definitely have the vibe. I mean, when you're on stage, and then when you're in that the outfit from that era and the hat and all that stuff, and the rest of the band. I mean, you get really caught up in all that. So now I know with you being the lead singer, you guys all kind of share the duties. What's it like out there for you, kind of with the banter with the crowd? I mean, I know with my band. It's like, okay, here's the set list, and we literally write our set list 10 minutes before the show. Okay.
We do the same thing.
So good. That's the mark of a good band.
Sometimes it's on a napkin.
Right?
Sometimes it's a napkin shared by everyone. One napkin shared by everyone.
There you go. But I always find it's like, okay, we're going to do 3 songs. We're going to stop. Then I'm going to talk.
Right.
Then we're going to do 2 songs nonstop. And then I'm going to talk. And you know what? It never ends up that way. We'll do the first 3, and then after that, it's kind of just like
sometimes
whatever.
Someone needs to tune, or
there's an issue with the snare drum. The drummer has to use the bathroom. I've had that happen.
Oh, I've had that happen too.
Really?
Taylor once had to use the restroom, and he drank too much water or wine before the show, and I always I'm like, never again. He left me, and I didn't want to leave the audience hanging, so I literally sat down. And basically had a heart-to-heart with the audience as Stevie Nicks.
And that's how you do it. You it's almost like they know you're not Stevie Nicks.
No. They know. Yeah.
They're not fooled or anything, But,
I like when they play into it, though.
But when they play into it and so forth, my situation when that happened, we were in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And our drummer had some food, and usually he eats a little bit more bland food. And when you're in Louisiana, you got to try everything. And we literally had finished a song, and all I can say is thank God backstage was right off of the stage.
Oh, and it's not always.
And there was no warning for me. It was just I turned around and
he's not there,
and he's gone, and it was too early to go into the big long guitar solo. And it's just like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And I think as a singer, you have to go out and you be honest with the crowd, and you have a good talk with them. And I always try to approach it like we're here celebrating this great music. We're here as fans, just like you are.
Right.
Sometimes I'll go into the DLR mode and do that. But for me,
we like to talk about how rich we are.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's funny.
Because it's a joke.
Right. But it's funny because sometimes, a lot of the crowd that we'll play to, they don't, they weren't even around when Van Halen was playing. So if I try to go into this full 100% David Lee Roth mode, it can come across like, is this guy serious? Is he really acting like this? So it's like that. It's kind of like that fine line. I mean,
It definitely is a fine line. I mean, Taylor's great with banter. Rebecca's also pretty great with banter. I find myself definitely I call it Bridget Jonesing it, where I kind of don't stick the landing as well. But I just kind of defer to Taylor. But Taylor's great at. But like you said, it's different. Every audience is different. So sometimes the audience likes us to bicker and to fight and to play off the fact that everyone's going through divorce and everyone's breaking up.
So you guys get into
it.
That?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he'll point at me.
That aspect.
Yeah, he'll point at me and especially during was it Go Your Own Way, when he's packing up, shacking up is all you want to do. He'll point at me and look angry on stage, and then I'll just shoot him a dirty look and just be like,
oh, that's perfect.
This lyric annoys me. And whereas and everyone just kind of pretends we're part of that, but he's really great at, and then he'll thank the audience for making us so wealthy. So we'll be playing, let's say, an audience if it's a real want audience, and it's 200 people or whatever, and you're just all right, this is what we're getting. He'll run off stats of how many records per person bought, just to basically make up $1 million or whatever.
See, and that's so cool
it's
because
really funny.
It's not all tribute bands can get away with doing that. But with you guys, with your ages, you're close to the ages of Fleetwood Mac when they recorded Rumours in the 76, 77, I think. And you can get away with that. A lot of bands can't get away with it. A lot of bands will go out there and they'll introduce themselves as the member that they're portraying,
which we never do. We never break. I'm always Stevie.
That's tacky when people do that.
I never thank Taylor for being Taylor as Lindsey Buckingham. We never do any of that. And we literally, there was one time, it was so funny. We were all laughing so hard, and we were just trying to get through. And he pretended that there was a fireworks show that was supposed to go off at the end of a park show. He was he did a countdown and everything. He's 1, 2, and it was and then he was looking around frantically, where are the fireworks?
Right, how funny.
And then he kept doing it, and he's let's try it again. And he's really committed to this.
So that's
fireworks
great.
Show that never happened. It was really awesome.
that takes the pressure off you.
Oh yeah, it takes the pressure off of us, and we just have fun with it, and the audience has fun. I mean. Usually people will love that we're in that character, but sometimes it aggravates them because they want us to fess up that we're not that person. Right. This woman the other day, a show recently, was have you, she kept pointing at him, ever met Stevie Nicks? Because I know that you are not Lindsey Buckingham. And it was just got really kind of aggro.
A little scary.
And the crowd was really into heckling us, and it was really bizarre.
Who
it's
does that? What
who
is
does
up with
that?
These people?
Why? What makes you think that you're so awesome by doing that? It's not awesome. You're just. it's just kind of tacky. And he goes, first of all, I know who I am, and Stevie Nicks is right here. We never gave it up.
So he's arguing with her.
He argued with her, and then I came out and I was like, there's a lot of hecklers out here. Like, I had to call it out because I was like, guys, like, it's a show. Like,
that's
reel
cool.
it in.
Do you ever have like, I've had an experience where you can be in Chicago one night and you can do a line and it just goes off great. The place goes nuts and it works real well. And then the very next night you do it.
It's just like.
And it's crickets.
Crickets.
Depending on where you're at. But it kind of gives you such a respect for comedians. Because there's been times where I'll go on and do a story, and I'm sure you have before. And it just goes off great, and they're digging it, and you're joking, and they're laughing with you. And it's empowering.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling than the actual performing and singing part. But you have it taken away so quick when you do the exact same thing for a new crowd and nobody does anything. And it's just like, is this on? Is this mic on? Can you hear, right? It's crazy.
I've actually said before when I like something like that, I'm like, well, you can't win them all.
True.
I actually said that out loud.
Has there been anything that's been tough for you guys? I mean, there's 5 of you. And the thing with your band, you've got 2 women and 3 men. So what's that like when you guys are on the road? And I mean, has it been, you guys all get along? Has it been an easy process? I mean, for us, when we go out, it's like we're 4 brothers, and there's some days where we just are sick of each other and we argue, and other days, we're like a tribe, and, no one can break that barrier of the 4 of us.
Right. I mean, we're definitely all very close. I'm kind of like not a micromanager, but like more a little bit like high strung and want to make sure that we're doing.
Do you take on the mom role of the band?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just it got to a point to where I was because I was bugging I was like, hey, where's this, and they're like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, fine, that's awesome. So I kind of tour manage our shows, and I'm in charge of social media. So I have a lot of control as far as like that goes. I'll make sure that we're in. That we're within a budget, we're in a good hotel room within a certain mile radius of the airport and the venue, the whole thing.
A good hotel room,
right? A good hotel room. Like, I don't, I'll ask before I do anything, I'm like, are we cool with sharing rooms, or do we each want our own rooms? If it comes out of our budget, we usually share rooms because,
right.
We've gone as far as actually putting 5 people in one room before, which was. But that
fun.
was you only have 2 hours to sleep. I mean, touring isn't as glamorous as people think. It's you're either when we did that Newfoundland thing.
Well, you don't get paid to perform; you get paid to travel, and that's the hard thing,
right?
About being in the music business like this is the getting up early, going to the airport, dealing with TSA,
5 a.m.
flying,
wake up,
and trying to stay fresh for the show. Once you're playing, that's all good. That's the fun part. It's all the aspects around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're just like, I hope I get a good meal and a nap and a shower at some point.
That would be nice. Do you guys split up all the duties? Is it a total democratic thing where all 5 of you take on different tasks? Or
So Taylor does the back line. He usually is the one that contacts the venues and tells them what we need and all of that. And he's in contact with them. And sometimes we rehearse at his place. Nick does the tracks. So if we need tracks, because we have 4 Christines, Rebecca's the only one that actually plays the keyboards. But so Nick went and he'll learn the song and he'll play it. So we compensate him for that because that's a lot of work. And it takes a certain talent that even if we were to not use him, we'd have to outsource and pay someone else.
Sure.
So you might as well pay the person who's in your band.
Right.
And then Ned does the managing and kind of juggles the agents and all of that. Because, when you're part of a tribute band, you don't have just one agent. You have multiple.
Right. And we use a couple of the same ones. So definitely.
And I contact one of the agents because they like to talk on the phone. So I'll just call them and, you know, be like, hey, what's up? I've got these ideas and let me know what you think about this. And just kind of more or less like the maintenance of like certain agents.
You know what I do?
What?
Nothing.
That's amazing.
I don't do anything.
That's amazing.
Seriously.
Well,
I've done it both ways. I've been in bands where it's all split up. You'll do this and you'll do this and I'll do this and everything's split up and in my band, you know, just one guy.
Scott does everything, right?
Yeah, Scott handles everything. You know, and he makes more money. It's
you guys give him a higher.
It's his band. He books it where he wants.
That's awesome. Yeah, we split it evenly.
Everything, and I don't make the same. You know, I don't make the same money as he does. But guess what? I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it works for me. I think. You know, just being busy and doing my thing.
Yeah.
My job is to just make sure that, you know, I bring out, you know, the best possible show from the front man position. Don't get fat and keep my voice going.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you know, I have to tell you, it's nice.
Our outfits are not forgiving.
You're telling me.
We both basically wear leotards on stage.
Right. Yeah. Lovely, right? I always tell the crowd, you know, the reason I got this job is not because of the hairy chest, but because I'm willing to wear these ridiculous spandex pants.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, I mean, it's not forgiving at all. You know, you have to keep yourself in shape. You've got to work out. You have to eat right. You can't eat road food, and which
is so hard not to do. It's really easy to just be like, yeah, I'll have a cheeseburger and fries for the rest of my life.
It's tough. It's really tough. It's my least favorite part of being in a band is having to really micromanage what I eat.
Right. There was something that I saw recently, and I was like, must be nice. It was something about, it was like this singer, and she has like a tour bus and all this stuff, and she talks about how hard it is touring and eating right. She has a refrigerator and a blender.
Well, there you go.
I was like, you have a refrigerator and a blender.
There you go.
Like 90% of artists don't have that. Like, must be that. She's like, I go to the farmer's market every weekend and pick up my fruits and veggies. Like, if I were to say, hey guys, can we go to this farmer's market that I found on Yelp? They'd be like, get out of here.
Right. That's I'll actually bring my own food with me. I'll bring fruit and
load up with power bars.
Trail mix, and you know, after the show, it's like, oh well, we're stopping at AM/PM, or we're stopping at Whataburger in Texas, and I'm sitting in the van eating my, you know, nuts and raisins. But that's how it is.
Yeah, that is how it is. Yeah, Taylor's pescatarian, so a lot of times he's, you know, if it's an only meat situation, especially when we're going through Texas. And it's
right.
It's all barbecue everywhere, and I find Texas barbecue to be the most confusing barbecue.
Why is that?
You have to order from three or four different stations. It's like a max amount of counters that you can order from. You don't just go to one counter, pick what you want, and then they call your number. It's like
you have to take a course to be able to go into this place, right?
It's like if you need a side, you go over to that counter. If you want a drink, you go over to that counter. If you want a meat, you go over to that counter. If you want a sauce, it's so confusing. And I like always joke whenever we're in Texas, I'm like, can we just go to a place that's not so confusing? And it's like, I feel like they get more and more confusing. I just need to like keep my mouth shut and just go anywhere because.
Does it have to be this hard?
Does it have to be? I kind of got yelled at. Like the guy was like, do you want, like he said something, but he had a really thick Texan accent and I didn't understand. And my boyfriend, Nick, who's in the band, he looks at me, he goes, he's asking if you want the sauce on it. And I was like, oh, no, I'm good.
Wow.
I just had no clue what the man was staring at.
So your boyfriend's in the band?
That's how we met. We were friends.
This is the most authentic tribute band to Fleetwood Mac ever. Why do we always have to say we're the most authentic and we're the world's greatest?
Yeah.
You know, it's the self-proclaimed title, but that's pretty cool.
I started doing, which you can adopt it. The only tribute that matters. # the only tribute that matters.
Can we use that?
You can use it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Day long with you.
Same.
I had a list of questions here. I haven't read one question.
What did we hit any of the questions? Is there any questions?
Let me pick one.
We didn't hit.
Okay, let's do the typical podcast type of questions here before we call it a day.
Okay.
You're on a desert island, right?
Okay.
And you have to pick your favorite Van Halen tribute band singer. No, I'm kidding. Okay, you're on.
I know what I would bring with me if I was on a deserted island, but I don't think it's not biodegradable. It would be my Neutrogena face wipes.
I can tell. You have beautiful skin.
They're the bomb. I love them so much.
I mean, you're glowing right now. Okay. Desert island. Okay. They actually have power on this desert island, but it's not like Gilligan's Island or anything like this.
It's just everyone's left.
Everybody's gone, and you have a turntable, and so you can bring 3 records, and there's 2 criteria. We'll go with 3 records, 2 criteria. Okay, no Fleetwood Mac albums.
Okay,
and no greatest hits albums.
Okay,
no greatest hits, no Fleetwood Mac.
Okay,
and what would you bring?
I would definitely bring Peter Gabriel's "So." Okay. Kate Bush's "Hounds of Love," and
a total. So far, we're like in a mid '80s type of vibe there, right? Okay. And probably what would be the third one? Because those are like my 2 favorite. Any record from the Cars. Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Cars.
I love the Cars.
I love the Heartbreak City album.
Why aren't they on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, don't get me started on that.
Embarrassing.
No Deep Purple, no Cars. How can that be?
Yeah.
Okay, so
those.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll go with those.
I mean, I could pick several others, but those are the 3. I mean, that's what I listen to the most.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate. People say that I have like a weird like sense for chocolate. Like I can like sniff it out. My family used to have to hide chocolate from me, and I could still find it. They would like hide it behind frozen peas, and I'd be like, "Ooh, a Snickers."
I'm not a big dessert guy. I mean, I love ice cream and stuff.
Love it.
I mean, I'd rather just eat French fries, which obviously I can't eat fries. You know, being in a band. But
fries are like one of my weaknesses.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I had a protein burger last night. Okay, a protein burger last night, and to go with the protein burger, I had a cucumber salad. It was.
Did you cry into your cucumber?
It was harder than singing a Sammy Hagar song. I mean, it was like, but I did it.
I had a salad last night,
and I ate it, and I felt great afterwards.
Yeah,
it's a constant battle.
It is. It's a constant battle. I mean, food hangover is pretty up there with an alcohol hangover.
It is. I feel like as I get older, I can't eat anything anymore. It's like it's just. Not the same. I look at my kids, and it's amazing what they shovel into their mouths. And I was the same way.
Yeah.
Like eat.
Oh, I used to have eating contests with my friends. Like, can you eat an appetizer, a main course, a side salad, and a dessert all by yourself? Now that very thought, like I'd be
that is so cool.
I'd be have anxiety over this, thinking about that. I'd be
that is amazing.
You want me to do what?
Okay, Jesika, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Love Rumours. It's my favorite tribute band out there. I swear to God. I mean, I've been a fan since I saw you guys in Alabama a couple years ago. Where can everybody find you guys? What's going on? Where are you guys playing now? We're at the end of August right now, so I'm not sure when we're going to broadcast this. So
end of August. Well, our next show is September 10th in Fresno. At the Tower Theater.
Okay.
And then after that, we have some things in the works, but just trying to make sure everything lines up. We have a few private gigs, but... Where
can everybody find you in the whole social media, whatever?
The web. RumoursTributeShow.com. Rumours Tribute Show on Instagram. Rumours Tribute Show on Facebook.
Those are some original names there, huh?
Rumours Tribute Show. I know. I'm glad that we got it first.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we have to do this again. I think we could probably do a part 2 at some point, right? We should definitely revisit this. So thanks again for coming in.
Thank you so much.
I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Life in a tribute band. Take it from me, Jesika and Rumours really take it to another level. It was a lot of fun, and she really brought some great energy to Cover Your Ears. On this week's Artist Spotlight, I'm elated to bring you Southern California's Ceasefire. These guys formed in 2011 right here in Orange County. They're Ultimate Ears clients and pop into the lab from time to time. They've got some great support behind them, too. They've worked with Grammy-winning producer Josh Moser, as well as Grammy-nominated engineer Mark Needham, and have shared the stage with such artists like Everclear, Daughtry, and Dramarama, one of my favorites from the 80s. Other cool things, their music has actually been featured on episodes of The Hills, The City, The Real World, the Discovery Channel, and even Lipton iced tea commercials. Their live performances are incredible. And what I like, they take kind of a modern approach, but give it a mix of classic music. When I listen to Ceasefire, I think if U2 and Coldplay had a baby, it would be these guys. So here it is. The song's called Joyride, just released this past August. Look for it on full release in early 2017. Cover Your Ears is brought to you by Heil Sound. Heil is all about that perfect sounding microphone, and it just so happens they've been doing it for quite some time, 50 years in fact. Anybody that's been around that long is definitely for real. Check out their website at www.heilsound.com. Cover Your Ears is also brought to you by Ultimate Ears Pro, setting the standard for custom in-ear monitors for more than 20 years. Ultimate Ears Pro is dedicated to delivering the ultimate sound experience. To learn more, visit pro.ultimateears.com. And remember, every guest on Cover Your Ears receives a set of Ultimate Ears 900s. When you want the sound of a custom in-ear monitor with the convenience of a universal fit system. And a personal thanks also to Ultimate Ears. That's my employer. I appreciate them sponsoring the show, but also giving me the facility to bring in the different artists to do this show. You can also find the Atomic Punks, the tribute to classic Van Halen, at www.theatomicpunks.com, or check us out on Facebook where you can see pictures, videos, our schedule, and of course, booking information. Also check for brand new episodes of Cover Your Ears every single Tuesday. I'd love to hear your feedback too. You can contact me with any comments, suggestions, or questions at briangellervo@gmail.com. And if you like the podcast, please make sure and leave a review wherever you may have found Cover Your Ears. And do a guy a favor, tell a friend. Oh, and if you have something interesting to say and you're in the business, let me know. It could make for a fun show. I also want to do a special shout out to the Hit House. Check them out at thehithouse.com. Sally and Scott provide all the music for the show, and I'm grateful to have them on board with Cover Your Ears, but also as great friends. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week.